What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Draymond Green Show YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like the post that you love. But you can get everything the Draymond Green Show right on our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe. Check that out. Thank you. You joined the Heat. LeBron's second year there, which they were coming off a finals loss. What was the energy like going in there with, the Heatles team who was expected to be everything, and now they just lost in the finals to a Dallas Maverick team who they were way more talented than, expected to kind of run the first two games and then lose four in a row. What was the energy like with you going in there after that?
Well, first of all, Dre, I was like everybody else. When the big three came together, I was rolling my eyes, being like, oh, come on, man. Like, really? And so I was playing in Houston and I got traded to Memphis and I was like, come on, man. Just calm down. So I was like everybody else. But as soon as they lost to Dallas, it was my first time I was ever a free agent in my career. And I'm like, I have never won a championship. They're going to win a championship. I should go to Miami. And that was my thinking. Mm-hmm. And so when I got there, and I was always like, I'm not a Miami guy. Like, that's not who I am. I'm from, Midwest. I'm from Detroit. The thing that struck me about that team was I think they learned a lot and they really got humbled by Dallas. Mm-hmm. And the edge that team had going back the next year, I'd never seen a team like that. I'll never forget ring night. It was after the lockout. So first game, Christmas night in Dallas, ring night. And those guys didn't want to see Dallas get the ring. So we're back in the tunnel back there in Dallas. And you could just see them, everyone just so angry. And the edge, you could feel just like, oh man. And I look around, I'm like, oh man, we winning this. we are winning this. And we came out and we beat Dallas pretty good. And that night, I got the plane. I'm like, oh, we're winning. We're winning. But that team was so talented. They learned the lesson. To be a champion, you have to go through the fires and you got to get, kicked in the face. And you got to get up and you got to learn, understand, okay, to be a champion, this is what it takes. It ain't just about talent. It's about here. And so I like to think I was additive to that. But that team was so talented, but the hunger and the edge that team had was something I had never experienced.
One thing that I thought was big and what it looked like, and here's what my question would be to you is, it seemed like one thing that really got that team over the hump and allowed that team to take off was it seemed as if D Wade kind of took a backseat. Like, Bron, listen, it's your show. You go out second fiddle in the sense now, people use it negatively. And if you want to win championship, your second option is just as important as your first option. Yeah. But it seemed like D Wade kind of took a backseat and let Bron go. Was that something that y'all discussed? Was it just did it just kind of come out?
I think if you saw that team the year before and they lost to Dallas, there wasn't good flow. Mm-hmm. And it was almost like they were afraid to step on each other's toes, right? So it was like D Wade's turn, and then it was LeBron's turn, and then it was CB's turn. From a basketball standpoint, it just seemed like they were always fighting against each other, right? So I think they came back the next year, and D Wade is he's one of the most, he's so cool, man. He's got all the confidence in the world, where he knows what everyone's saying on the outside, but he had the confidence to say, dude, I'm a Hall of Fame player. I'm, a top 3 or 4 shooting guard of all time. I'm going to get mine. I'm going to be fine. Right. And so I don't think he stepped back, but I don't think he was concerned about whose team was it. And that's the hardest thing. I mean, playing with Clay and with Steph and Hall of Famers, at that level, you guys are all Hall of Famers. It ain't about one guy, right? And it's just I'm a dude, and at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. And so that was what D Wade and what CB and what Bron did, and just I think that confidence in losing to Dallas allowed them to be the best versions of themselves. So let me tell you, those guys were motherfuckers, at different times in the year, motherfuckers. And their greatness was unleashed because they just say, you know what, I'm a dude. I'm not going to worry about anything else. Mm-hmm. Right? Absolutely. Is that what your experience was?
Get in on the action with the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers who deposit $5 or more can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 back in bonus bets. How cool of a deal is that? All you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. It takes 90 seconds and use the code COLIN. COLIN. This is the best deal you're going to find. New customers, it's a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 if your first bet loses. How cool is that? Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Code is Colin. The crown is yours.
100%. It's funny because I actually use this analogy. Like, one of the main keys to our championship is this. And Maverick will use this example, Maverick Carter. Maverick will say, I'm really tight with Mav. And Mav will say, man, I have a lot of respect for Clay. And this is when we're going through the runs. He said, I have a lot of respect for Clay. I'm like, man, tough as nails, right? Like he shoot the lights out the ball. And Mav's like, yeah, but no. The reason I have a ton of respect for Clay is, he said, because every night, two guys walk into the bar. It is Steph, it's Klay Thompson. And every night, Steph say, all right, there you see them two girls? I'm taking the pretty girl, and you got to take the ugly girl. He said, and every night, Klay say, all right, I'll take the ugly girl, let's go, and take one for the team. He's like, because as great a shooter as Klay is, he go and guard the best player, and yet he's never going to get the credit that Steph was. Not one time did he ever complain about it. Not one time did he ever feel like, man, I need to be this or I need to do that. Always confident in himself, always comfortable in his own skin, didn't care what anybody else had to say. And to me, that set a tone for the team because you're the second best player on the team. You're the second option, and you take that approach every single night. How can anyone else take a different approach? You know? And I think that was, to your point, that was huge for us. Like, just Klay's demeanor and willing to, like, talked about it with Chris Paul. Klay going to guard Chris Paul and Klay going to guard Kyrie Irving and, like, all these guards. He could be like, no, I don't want to guard those guys. That Steph is. Now, every single night he did that, and it made such a difference in our team. It was for the better.
I tell young guys all the time, I say, look, no one has ever asked me, how many points, did you score in your career? Couldn't tell you. Mm-hmm. Like, how many points you have in the finals game 7, Shane, No one's ever asked me that. No one ever. I get 2 questions about my career. They say, where do you keep your rings? And how do you decide which one you want to wear that day? Right. And so, like, when you win, they don't care about your stats. They just care that you were part of that team, and they care that you're a champion, and that's forever. Like what you did in that moment, you may have hit a big shot, but like no one cares about your stats. And so you want to be remembered, win, and be a part of it, and be on the floor. And legacy, that's legacy. Legacy takes care of itself. It ain't about the stats and the numbers you put up.